peoples of YouTube. Today we're going to be doing a mixture of both remaking a very common fairy tale, but also pop culture. If you hadn't guessed it, then that makes sense. There's probably a lot of these. But today we are going to be remaking Shrek in Minecraft. So without further ado, hope you enjoy. Once upon a time, there was a great big slime named Shrek. Now, Shrek was a very grumpy slime, and he lived alone in a swamp, all alone, just bouncing around slimily, having a great time. One day, there just so happened to be a whole bunch of guards in the area trying to round up fairy tale creatures, and there happened to be a talking mule. Now, this mule was named Mule, and they didn't really want to get caught, so they pretended not to be able to speak, but then he kind of got caught, and so then he went running into the swamp, and so happened across Shrek. Now, Shrek here is a great guy, even though he refuses to admit it, so he was all just like, ha 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 ha, guards, begone! And he scared them away with his amazing sliminess by, I don't know, yelling. What does a slime do to scare people away? IDK. However, as the two of them approached Shrek's swamp, they discovered that there was a zillion fairy tale creatures all over the swamp. And Shrek was all like, bro, what you guys doing here? And they were all like, bro, this guy named Fartface sent us all here. They're so annoying. However, the personal space of Shrek is not to be challenged. So he was all like, hey, I'm gonna go on a voyage, and I'm gonna meet this Lord Fartface, and I am going to tell him to send you all home and get out of my swamp. However, the only person who knew where Lord Fartface was and was brave enough to travel with Shrek happened to be Sir Mule here, and they went off on a voyage together. The two traveling companions eventually arrived in a city called Poolock, and this city happened to be ruled by Lord Fartface. And Lord Fartface was all like, you ugly thing, what you doing here? And Shrek was all like, give me back my swamp! However, Lord Fartface is a very, very tricky guy, and he was all like, well, you see, if you want your swamp back, you better go get me a princess so that I can marry her, and then I can be a real king! Because this guy is lazy and doesn't want to go get her himself. However, Shrek really wanted that swamp back, so he was all like, yeah, sure, fine. And he peaced out. And so then, Shrek and Mule traveled all the way from Poolock to a giant heckin' castle on top of a crazy lava mountain with lots and lots of fire and a bloodthirsty bee guarding it. However, thanks to a rickety bridge and the help of Mule's amazingly charming sex appeal, thankfully, Shrek managed to get to the top of the tower and save the princess. After Shrek had collected the princess and they had run from the ferocious, bloodthirsty bee, while they were traveling, Legasp, Shrek, and the princess named Phoebe began to develop feelings for each other. However, when Mule happened to walk into the room where Phoebe was sleeping, instead of seeing Phoebe the pretty princess, he saw a giant heckin' slime. And he was all like, oh my goodness gracious, Phoebe! Are you eaten? And the slime was all like, no, I am Phoebe. And Mule was all like, bro, what happened? And Phoebe was all like, I'm cursed. And I turn into a giant heckin' slime. How do you do? And Mule was all like, bruh, that's so crazy. And then Phoebe was all like being not confident and was like, bruh, guess what? I'm so sad because sniffle cry sounds. Princess and slime don't go together! However, Shrek, who was just outside the door, as he had wanted to pledge his feelings to Phoebe and say that he loved her, heard only the last little bit of Phoebe saying, Princess and slime don't go together. And he assumed that meant him and Phoebe. And so then he pouted and sulked and hopped off to Pulak to bring over Lord Fartface. And so then Mule and Shrek delivered Phoebe to Lord Fartface. And then Shrek sulked off back to his swamp while Mule sat there just like, haha, bros, I'm in on the secret, but no one else is! However, when Shrek was back at his swamp, he realized how lonely he was without Phoebe and Mule, and he was sulking. However, magically out of nowhere, Mule arrived, and he was all like, broski, why are you being such a sulky bro? And he's all just like, yo, I'm so sad. But I'm not gonna tell you why, because I'm angsty that way. And Mule was all like, well, guess what, guy? I'm taking half of your swamp because I helped get Phoebe, which means I get half the prize. However, Shrek was all like grouchy and he was all like, bro, everybody hates me. It all sucks. Phoebe hates me. Why? However, Mule decided that now was a good time to break his promise of secrecy to Phoebe, and he was all like, bro, she loves you. And he's all like, what? And he's all like, we'll never make it on time. However, Mule happened to have fallen in love with the bloodthirsty bee, and the bloodthirsty bee flew both of them back to Pulak. You got this, bee buddy, I believe in you. Just as the sun was beginning to set, Mule, Shrek, and Bee happened to arrive, and it just magically so happened that they were in the middle of their wedding. And Shrek came in much too late and was all like, yo, you guys can't marry. I love you, Phoebe. And Phoebe was all like, what? However, the Lord of Farts himself was all like, bro, what the heck? There is a slime in love with a princess. What the heck? However, just at that moment, the sun set even more and the moon was rising. And magically, Phoebe turned into a slime! And Shrek was all like, oh my goodness gracious, so that's what you were talking about! And they were having a glorious little moment here until the Lord of Farts was all like, broski, not my wedding, and ordered the two of them to be killed. But then Bee came in and had their glorious bloodthirsty moment and devoured the very small Lord alive! R.I.P. child! Woohoo! No more Fart Lord! And so the two lovers returned home to their swamp, with Phoebe now being a full-time slime thanks to the beauty of their magical moment at Pulak that rendered Phoebe a slime forever. No more pesky human form, just slime all the time. And so the two slimed together for the rest of eternity, happily bouncing about, just like true lovers right next to each other in their swamp. And then Mule and Bee happened to actually get really together, and they were married and all the good jazz, because you can't leave a single character unmarried in a fairy tale. Woo! The end. Well, that's the end of my Minecraft rendition of Shrek. If you guys want to see the next Shreks, I am so down to do those in Minecraft. That would be amazing. Just make sure to either comment, like, or I feel weird pandering. But yeah, just do something so that I know you want to see the next one, and I will make it 100% because this was fun. Hope you guys have a great day.